How have you been?
I just haven't been feeling like myself lately.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Before we get into the video, I want to give you a trigger warning. Because I will be talking in this video about self-sabotaging patterns, and you might recognize yourself in some of them or in many of them. And if this causes triggers of self-criticism or anxiety, then know that you can pause the video at any time, you take a few deep breaths, and you continue watching the video when you feel more at ease. And another thing I'd like you to know is that you are not alone in these feelings. I am talking here as a person, as an artist, from my own lived experience. I am not a trained psychologist. So take my content as advice, like you would take advice from a friend. Oops. All right, nearly done. Fight, defeat, kill your inner demons. This is something I have come across so much on my own psychological journey. But there are many schools of thought that actually disagree with this attitude. Actually, the more you fight the demon, the bigger it gets. So, inspired by the more integrative techniques, I want to take a more or less aggressive approach. And I advise you to use compassion and patience towards yourself, because this is not going to be a quick fix.
Oh no.
What do we mean by inner demons? Personally, I'm actually not a big fan of calling this mechanism an inner demon. I find it a little punishing and strangely religious. But I do like the visual archetype. It's something to work with, so voila. And informed by Jungian psychoanalysis, we could identify this so-called inner demon as our shadow aspects.
Shadows are aspects of the personality outside the realm of consciousness that are usually developed in early childhood. These shadows can be either positive or negative, but it's the negative ones that often lead us to self-sabotage.
The shadow is likely to feed on feelings of depression, anxiety, shame, fear, self-criticism that seems to come back and back in patterns, that seems to repeat itself in your life.
In Jungian psychology, the shadow is an unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify in itself. In short, the shadow is the unknown side. When it comes to your shadow, the more you try to suppress it or run away from it, the more power it will have over you. Your shadow self is key to self-sabotage. By doing shadow work, we discover the dark side of ourselves and try to become a fully integrated person. Keep in mind that when working to recognize and understand your shadow side, you do not over-identify with it. You try to merely observe it first.
The most common self-sabotaging triggers can be a lack of security, feeling unsafe, fear or change, or fear of change, negative childhood experiences and memories that might pop up. I would like to continue with a personal story because it can show how deep one can get distracted by their own patterns. Since I was a child, I was very anxious. As a teen, I experienced periods of really deep depression, and as an adult and being an artist, I started to believe my brain was broken and there was just nothing that was going to fix it. I just had to accept that was the way I was, because frankly I'd never I'd never known myself without mental health issues, so I couldn't imagine me feeling like myself without that part of myself. Even worse, I thought I needed to be depressed in order to be a good artist, which is outrageous when I say it out loud now, although the suffering artist is another cultural archetype that I'd really like to dedicate another video to. But to go back on the topic, I identified with my depression so much that I couldn't possibly imagine myself without it.
Oh no, 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 no.
By cultivating a habit of introspection.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
The positive feelings you experience are usually conscious, and the negative feelings you experience are often unconscious. Self-sabotage comes from a pattern of inner conflict. Now, people don't typically set out to harm or obstruct themselves. Instead, it's more that they carry these opposing feelings. So, one that desires a better life, and the other one, fear and change. In this way, self-sabotage really starts out as a kind of self-protection that often comes in from a very early age. And this mechanism of protecting yourself can turn into a self-sabotaging pattern that can eventually overrule your behavior and your life.
Oh no, 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 no.
I have a quiz. And the goal of this quiz is to identify the patterns that are the most damaging to your health, your relationships, and your happiness. This exercise is to find and spot your own patterns and basically a start to a larger investigation by yourself. Get a notebook and a pen, rate every statement between 1 and 7, 1 being I have no problem with this at all, and 7 being this is a huge problem for me. So important to mention, this quiz is inspired by Alice Boy's The Healthy Mind Toolkit. The Healthy Mind Toolkit. If you sign up for her blog, I think, you can read the first chapter for free and see if the book is for you.
The examples in this quiz are very compact and do not cover the entire scope. It's just to get you started. But if you recognize yourself in these statements, screenshot, copy, or make a note of the ones that resonate. Ready, set, go!
You want to excel in making life changes without designating the time or mental space to make that happen. You dismiss gradual change or slow improvement because only when 100% of a problem is solved are you happy. You miss the warning signals that a break is important to you. Due to invasive thoughts like I can't or what if, you are held back from doing the stuff you like. You spend a lot of time and mental resources reinventing the wheel instead of asking for help. Instead of taking effective problem-solving measures, you encourage yourself to ruminate or stress. You can't seem to catch yourself when childhood traumas are reactivated, which wreaks havoc in your life. Focus on low-priority projects, but leave high-priority tasks unfinished. Procrastination is your middle name. I know there's a lot of self-help content online that might make you feel like you have to figure out things on your own, all by yourself, which is definitely not the case. What I'm trying to do here is to maybe help you advance and improve your skills in introspection, and you might realize that you have patterns in your life that are damaging to you or to others. And then I would like to encourage you to reach out to a therapist. Introspection can reveal subconscious fears and habits you may have been harboring for years. Hopefully it gives you the clarity to make choices that align with your goals.
In the next video, we will dive deeper into types of shadow work to interrupt the self-sabotage mechanism and learn to collaborate with the shadow self. See you there!